Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here with Screenwriter's Rant on True Story from Netflix, starring Kevin Hart and Wesley Snipes. Two guys I really like to see in more movies. Well, Kevin, not so much, but Wesley Snipes, definitely. And this looks like one that's perfect for Kevin Hart. The premise is he is a famous comedian on the rise, and his brother's a little sketchy. And something happens, and they have to cover it up to save his career. Let's get into it. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Please check out my books. You are checking out my books. I've given Joan a bunch of treats. Right, Joan? Because we are selling books. Thank you for pushing me up on the Amazon horror comedy category on the ebooks. And if you're thinking about buying a book on the Pineys, now's the time to do it. Push me up, get me into the top 10, and it'll be a happy Halloween for me. But Kevin Hart looks good in this. He looks very good because this is his life, right? He's had, if you've seen his stand-up, he had sketchy guys. I think his dad primarily was kind of a sketchy guy. And I think he had an uncle, too, that was in jail. So something happens. It takes place in Philly. Big fan of movies that take place in Philly. And Wesley, who's the sketchy one, is trying to save him. So it's about family and loyalty. I don't know what happens. They don't tell you in this, but this feels like, first you got Wesley Snipes, who is a good actor. And they're acting the hell out of this. But it's a good role for Kevin because I know, Joe, it's already his kind of life, right? He's a famous comedian. He's on his way up. He's already lived this. See, now he's risking everything because of his brother's antics. His brother's out of jail or whatever, and he's in his crew. Eddie had some stories, I think, about this, or Charlie Murphy. I forget what. You want to sit over here? You're a good pup. You're a good pup. You were very gross today, but you were good. Had to do some cleanup. Had to do some maintenance on the dog. You know what I'm saying, dog owners. It was very gross. But you're clean now. You're clean now. Yes, True Story from Netflix. Finally, another thing I could watch on Netflix. I'll totally watch this. This looks good. Looks solid. First act, I'm going to give it an upvote. First act, it's going to be Kevin, his rise, it's not Kevin Hart as himself. By the way, it's definitely a character Kevin Hart like, and he'll have his comedy. They'll write. It looks like they write specific comedy lines for him to be a character as opposed to just using Kevin's material. And he's on the rise, and then his brother's back in the picture for whatever reason. Second act, beginning of the second act, something happens. Somebody dies, or there's some drugs or whatever. They're either coming back on his brother or they're coming back on him for some reason, and his brother's there to cover it up because he's already into some stuff and he doesn't want to see his brother go down, but and invariably it just gets worse and worse. And then the third act is the resolution. I don't know, it says True Story. Is it true? I don't think so. But I think it'll be a good movie. I really do. Wesley looks very thin in this too, and he looks very different too. He doesn't look like his normal stuff. He looks almost emaciated, really. All his facial features look different. So, but this is kind of cool. I like this dynamic. I think they have good chemistry to each other. Do they look enough like to be brothers? Nah, not really. Maybe a little. Charlie Murphy and Eddie Murphy, you could tell they were brothers, right? Maybe they have different dads in the story. Who knows? But close enough. They could probably pass as cousins easily. So, brothers, cousins, it's close enough. But I would, I think this is going to be good. This is because partly, I think Billy Zane's in it. He's only in it for a frame. But I think it could be really good because it looks like, and it also, the ending can kind of go either way. It could be that Kevin goes to jail for his brother or vice versa. The classic ending would be Wesley sacrifices himself to save his brother and his career. But it sounds kind of dark. So it could go the other way, or it could just, unravel completely. They both go to jail, or he dies and then Kevin goes to jail. Or it could be that Wesley set him up. Like Wesley committed the crime, then set him up in order to save him. I wouldn't put it past criminals. But there's a lot of criminals in this trailer, so there's a lot going on. There's detectives and criminals. So there's a lot going on. I think they spent some real money on this. So true story. Do we have a date on it? Yeah, November 24th. Yeah, so it'd be something to watch around Thanksgiving, Joan. Around Thanksgiving. And that's it for me, Tony D, and Little Joan. See you in the next video, and check us out on Bitchute and Rumble. Got another Hollywoke hot take and a news blast.